Hey guys, this is Poet Spice and I am here to do a color along. I decided to use this jewelry box by Hanna Karlzon since this is the month to support her, and as several people already know of her health issues. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and use this book. I had a poll as to what you would like to see, and people said a Hanna Karlzon picture and with alcohol markers. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know what made me decide. But I decided that I was going to do her green. It's not easy being green. I don't know. But for some reason, it just went there. So I'm using my alcohol markers and I am using Aspire's. And to be honest, I have not been able to find these very often on Amazon, but that's where I originally purchased them. So I have these, and then I have Ohuhu's, as you saw. Those were the new pastel colors, and I have all of the Ohuhu's. I also have some sprees, or it looks like sprees. So yes, the Spreey. I have those. So I'm going to go ahead and use those, and I'll end up using a variety of colors. I started with a light, medium, and dark. And in this case, I started with the light one because I wanted to see how it was going to work on this paper and just how much color and saturation it would take. So, yeah. And I'm not really worried about the back side of the page because alcohol marker, as you know, does bleed through terribly. But I'm not worried about the back side of the page because I actually have 2 copies of Jewelry Box and several other of Hanna Karlzon's books because I'm going to blame it on my girl JoJo. Because, what was it? Sometime last year, they were doing a 3 for 2 sale on the books on Amazon. And then there was also something else. There was something else that like double dipped the books. I can't remember. And she sent this message and was like, okay, so yeah, you can get a second copy. And I was like, oh, how stupid of me not to think about that. So when she said that, I went and pretty much bought. I pretty much bought most of the Hanna Karlzon ones, the ones I really liked. Again, now at the time, not all of them were 3 for 2, but yeah. So I'm not really worried about using alcohol markers on these books because I've got 2 copies. I mean, is anybody else like that? I know I've seen a couple videos where people have 2 copies, mainly because they want to copy the same, color the same image twice, or they really like it, or they screwed up the book or something like that. But yeah, I got my double copies simply so I could use alcohol markers. I can't help it. They're my favorite. They're my fave. So as you can see, I'm going to go through this and I'm taking all this green and I'm making it this light color. It's going to kind of end up giving me Incredible Hulk vibes, but it can't be helped. I don't know why, I just think it's so funny. So you're seeing me do the color along, and then at this moment, I'm also looking at the page in my book to the point where I stopped filming, so I can see what she looks like to that point, and it's just so funny. I know somebody's out there probably like being horrified right now that I'm actually using alcohol markers in a Hanna Karlzon book, and then that my girl is green. I can't help it though. It's lovely. It's lovely. Okay, so what is my madness here? Basically, I'm going to base this all in this lighter color green so that I can get a feel for what it looks like and then go in with the next darkest. Oh gosh, excuse me. To the darkest. And then I actually end up doing some other things with it. Okay, so now you can see what it looks like now that's all been based in the lighter color. And then I'm trying to decide what I'm going to go with next. Because I usually go either light, medium, dark, or dark, medium, light. And so we are going to go with the next color. And this time I just want to put it not as far down, obviously. And I want to kind of add it in places where there's going to be shadow. So underneath her hairline, around the edges of the little dangles in her hair, underneath the vines, underneath her neck is going to get a lot of color. On the edges of her hands, between her fingers, all those areas would have some level of shadow on them. So that's what we're going to go do. Now the problem with alcohol markers sometimes is that they will dry and they will leave a line. So you either have to be really quick or you have to plan that into your attack on how you're going to do your pictures. So I pretty much know that probably by the time I get done basically kind of outlining and putting this shadow layer where I want it, parts that I did first are going to be pretty much dry. Not totally dry, but they're going to be pretty much dry. And so I want to use that to my advantage so that it gives me kind of a line, but then when I come back with the next color, it'll kind of wet it and then add some more definition. I don't know, you just have to work with it. I don't know what's going on, you guys. Oh my gosh. Well, I was sitting here doing this and I was watching Blind Spot on Hulu. It's just been interesting to go back and watch old shows that I didn't actually watch when they came out. So that's interesting. The sad part about it is I get stuck watching them and I watch episode after episode after episode. And it's like binge. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Okay, so basically over this, I'm just going to go ahead and go through around the flowers. Or the stems. I also wanted to point out, I don't know if you noticed that, I'm not necessarily going in a straight line when I do it. I kind of do like a straight line and then fade it out into the area where I want it to go so that you don't get this very sharp line. So up along the eyebrow ridge at the top, it's pretty much a smooth line because I didn't want it too thick up there because there's not much space between the hairline and the eye. But like down the side of the face and on the hands, later on you'll see that I kind of move the marker in and out, almost like in a, I don't even know how to describe it, but you know, almost in a back and forth kind of way. So it's like kind of a feathery look. So then I go in another color. So definitely this is like ugly color mode. What do you call it? The ugly stage. So here I was trying to go to the third color and I realized that it is not going to be dark enough. It's not going to do what I want it to do. So now that I've switched to a G43, it's definitely dark enough. And each time I go over it, you go over it with a smaller area so you can deepen your shadows. And like everything on the neck is going to be darker, so I have more of it in that darker color. G43. And you'll also notice I don't want it everywhere. So I don't want it as thick as the second color green. So anyway, what else can we chit chat about? Oh, we were doing series. So what kind of series do you guys watch or binge watch on Hulu? Or whatever streaming service or TV service you have. Is there anybody out there who is in desperate need of a digital detox like myself? Man, seriously. And I need to take like a month off and just not get on the internet. But of course, that's extremely difficult to do because everything at work is online now. And I put assignments up, look up stuff like that. But I definitely could do a digital detox from personal stuff. You know, like stop binge watching. Oh my gosh. It's so funny because we were reading this story at work, and it was talking about how this guy, it's set in the 1800s, so clearly they don't have computers or TVs or radios or anything like that. And they were talking about how this guy had read 600 books in 4 years. And it was like, man, the stuff you could get done if you don't get on the computer. It's ridiculous. And yet I keep getting on the computer. But it's like you miss your friends, which is also a whole nother 20th century phenomenon of friends that you never met in real life. But in a way, that's so awesome at the same time. Me and my girl JoJo. Hey girl, if you're watching. And just like a bunch of people that I know from the crafting community and stuff that you never would have gotten to know back in the day because you wouldn't have been able to contact each other. You wouldn't have been able to meet if they didn't live in the same town or were friends. So that's pretty cool about the whole digital thing. But at the same time, how much time do I spend online? It's ridiculous. Whew. So crazy. But it's so fun. It's so fun. I mean, look what we're doing right now. We're sitting here coloring online together. Hopefully you pulled out a coloring book and are enjoying your book as well. Ooh, child. Digital fun, digital fun. We are sitting and having digital fun, digital fun, digital fun. Sitting here having a digital fun time. Oh, Lordy. So like I was saying before, like as I'm coloring off screen and you can't see it. So like I said before, you'll notice that I have the little lines. And see, now I've gone back with that middle color. And so now I'm doing kind of like a scrubbing, not really a scrubbing because that implies harsh, but going back over the darker color into the medium color so that it gets rid of that harsh line. And yet you still see the variant in color. Now, just like with color pencils, because I know there's a bunch of people that use color pencils like all the time. And markers in a way are like the color pencils in the fact that you can get a variety of colors and get a variety of, I don't want to even say the variety of colors. It's, a gradient. That's what I'm talking about with your markers. And you can use more and more colors. So you'll actually see later on that I go back and use 2 more colors of green in here to work that. Oh, I guess I should also comment that I did the face. I decided that I would go ahead and add the darkness to the face because I do want the hand to be a little bit lighter. So I kind of needed to finish off most of the face first. Because the hand would be closer to, like if my light source is in the front, like straight on in the front, the hand would be in front of the face so that it would be slightly lighter than the face and the neck. So I needed to finish that first in order to figure out how much dark I needed to put on her hand. And what I'll probably end up doing the next round anyway is going back with some grays, like some warm grays to make it even darker. And then depending, might even add some black. So now I'm taking that lighter color, the lightest color I used, and I'm going over the whole edge thing again. So what this will do is it'll mix the 2 colors before it. It'll make the lighter section darker, but at the same time, it'll smooth out some of those lines so they're not so harsh. I will say this with doing this, so it's kind of, because it gets the back part wet, you kind of see the lines from the picture behind it. So it's kind of like, oh, wait a minute. You got to think about it for a minute. Like, oh, yes, I don't want to cross that line. So fun. But yeah. And here's another tip. I've already done it, so you probably saw me do it. But I went ahead and colored the lips green because that will make it easier to do a different lip color later on instead of it just having that stark white, even though this isn't really white paper. It's like a, y'all know the color, like cream color. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the same process with the hand, and anywhere that is going to cast a shadow, so like the crease of the fingers, around the edge of the rings, in between where the little squiggly lines show up, the little knuckle creases, anything like that, and then closer to the edge. So the pinky finger should be a little darker, and possibly one side of the thumb should be a little darker as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that with the same colors. Okay. All right. So if you would like to see the next part, it'll be coming soon. And yeah, I thank you for watching. And I'm just going to go ahead and let this play. And hopefully maybe somebody else will like to do this page. If you'd like to see me do another page in here, like a different page, I can do that as well once I finish this one. All right, thanks for watching, and just keep on vibing along with the music. And then definitely tell me in the description box below, you know, how you're feeling about digital communications these days. What kind of things are you binge watching? How much time do you spend online? Whatever.